Hello everyone, and welcome to my 100 subscribers Q&A. Now, I've got nearly 40 questions. So, beforehand, I want to say thank you for everyone who asked these questions. Right, and to make this a bit more interesting, every time I do a question, I'm going to do a hit with Bean Boozled Jelly Bean. This was sent by YouTube user Drawtreep. Thank you very much, bud. So every time I answer a question, I'm going to have one of these. Some of them are unusual but nice flavours, and some of them are, vomit flavour, booger. So I won't be able to do this with every question, but I can do this with probably nearly half of them. So, right, let's get them out. Okay, let's get on with the questions. Right, question number 1 is from Southgate Music. As for the question, I'd like to ask, if you could keep only one console, which one would you choose? That's a good question. But also, there's a trick answer to this because the Dreamcast. One, it's my favourite console of all time, and emulation. You can emulate the NES, SNES, Mega Drive, TurboGrafx, some early PC adventure games, and tons of free games for it. So for that question, my answer would be the Dreamcast. Right, here we go. Oh no. Chocolate pudding. Yeah, good thing I brought some tea with me. Oh god, that's a bit overpowering. Okay, next one is from GamerGuy337. 2 questions. If you only had to play 5 video games, what would they be? Well, first 2 I know would definitely have to be Shenmue and Final Fantasy VII. Then probably Tetris, Mario 64 and Street Fighter 2. Those would be my 5 games. In a fist fight, who do you think would win? Sonic, Mario or the Master Chief? I'm going to go with Sonic. He's faster than Mario Master Chief. I'm definitely certain he could win against Mario. With Master Chief, it'd be a close fight, but I'm pretty certain he would get the edge. Do one of his little spin attacks and just... Whoosh. Right, so that's from GamerGuy337. Thank you very much. Here we go again. Oh my god. I didn't even finish that one, I just swallowed it. I think that was mouldy cheese. Thank you for the question. Okay, I got a whole bunch of questions from Eagle Living Gaming. So here we go. What's your prospective opinions on emulated game versus playing the originals? Well, my opinion is if you can play the original, play the original. If the console doesn't exist or it's very hard to come by or very expensive, then yeah, emulation is a good alternative. Plus, if you've got one of these handheld consoles, let's say the Dingu A something or the GP2X Wiz or the Pandora, it is a very good option because you think about it. I'll give you an example, like NES games. I mean, on my GP2X Wiz, I've got probably every single NES game in the world ever loaded onto it. I still collect NES games. I still at home prefer to get a decent sized TV, preferably an old one if I can, and play a bit of DuckTales. But if I'm on the bus or if I'm waiting for someone, just being able to pull out a little device and play any NES game you want is really handy. I'm in the middle. I would say whenever you can't play the original for any reason, emulation's a good second alternative. Okay, I guess I've got to have another hit. Oh god, that is awful. I don't even know what that is, but oh. Okay, next one. Does your girlfriend play video games, and would she guest appear in your video? Well, she plays video games. She's a huge gamer. She's probably as big a gamer as I am. And I don't know if she'd guest appear, but she has helped me with different videos. She's helped me with research. She's helped me write the scripts, like do the odd correction, and she even helped me with the introduction for the last review I did, which was, what was that one again? Oh yeah, for the Parasite Eve. She helped me to write the introduction after the beginning bit, the introduction. She helped me to write that bit, which was really well done, thanks to her. But maybe she might appear. Maybe she might even do a voiceover. Maybe, who knows? Right. Oh, I guess another hit. I think this one's toothpaste. It isn't as bad. At least I have minty fresh breath. Right. Which retro console are you still excited about and still discovering games for? Well, I would say the one that I'm most excited about now is the NES. Because in this country, the NES, it wasn't exactly big as it was in Japan or America. It was there, but my 8-bit gaming experience was playing on the Amstrad CPC 464. I played NES games growing up, like through emulation, but it was only this year that I actually got a NES and started collecting them for, which means I have a ton of games that I have basically never played. It's a great system. If you're someone who never played the NES and you're discovering it now, there's so many great games to play, and it's a great system for collecting for. So that's my answer. Oh, I can't possibly do another sweet yet, so I'm going to do another question first. How would you design a new gaming console for the modern day retro gamer? Yeah, that's a hard one because I don't think anyone really knows. I personally think it should be like the Wii, except without all the shovelware. It should have, a 32 gig flash drive, and it should be able to play pretty much anything up to a PlayStation. I mean, imagine having a console that you could basically bung like different ROMs on, or a few CD images on. Well, basically, to have a console that you can play anything from an Atari up to a PlayStation, and have 32 gigs of flash memory, and have at least, basic HD, like, 480p, with a really decent all-purpose wireless controller. That's how I would design it. Right. Favourite gaming music soundtrack ever for the Sega Dreamcast and Saturn? Well, for the Saturn, favourite soundtrack would have to be Panzer Dragoon Saga, because that was just amazing. I mean, there was like 4 CDs, and I'm still discovering new tunes and getting into it. Sega Dreamcast, Shenmue, hands down, Shenmue. Right, Chuck, I'm going to do one more, and then I'll have another sweet. If Sega came out with a new Dreamcast, would you consider getting it, and why? Yes, I would get it, hands down. Why would I get it? Because gaming needs Sega. And not just Sega, but a Sega hardware. That's what I think was missing from this generation. I don't know, I think Nintendo brought something to the table, Sega brought something, and Sony, and altogether you got a gaming experience. But then when Sega went away, I don't know, it felt kind of unbalanced. Sega brought certain, very unusual, unique gaming ideas, and yeah, some of them were, I enjoyed them, but some people were very much, But like Shenmue, for example, yeah, people completely dissed it, but how many things that Shenmue did first that are now common day, like sandbox gaming environments, every game does it now. Being able to explore, like in LA Noire, Shenmue did that like, a decade before? End of the day, people can call a game a failure and call Sega a failure, but at the end of the day, there's so many ideas they came up with first. And I think gamers lost something since they've gone. So if a new Dreamcast came out, I would get one, hands down. Okay, that's the first set of questions about Equal in Gaming, so I'm going to have another hit. Wish me luck. That's not too bad. I think it's blueberry. Quite enjoyed this one actually. I think it's the first decent one I've had. Right. Right, some more questions from Igliving Gaming. In addition to all your gaming consoles and games that you've owned so far, which console and games do you feel reflects you as a gamer from your childhood to your current age? That's a very good question. Probably the Sega Saturn. In the day, it's got a lot of good arcade games. It's got some great 2D games, especially like the Sonic Collection, and Sonic 3D is alright. Clockwork Knight 1 and 2, brilliant platformers. And to me, they're kind of old school and new school. They feel like an old platformer, but they're the best of what 2D could do, mixed with a bit of semi 3D. And what's the question again? And at the same time, there are a lot of really great games that are definitely appeal to the modern gamer. Let's say Panzer Dragoon Saga, or even Panzer Dragoon 1 and 2, or Burning Rangers. To me, it's a gaming system that children can enjoy and adults can enjoy, and it's a system that if you had as a kid, as you got older, all the more mature games you can play. I think it's a system that it's got something for everyone, and you know, if you're a kid growing up, you'll find games that will appeal to you as you get older. It's a good all-round system for a gamer to play over the course of his life, so to speak. Okay, I better take another hit. I don't know what that was, but I'm not going to find out. Do you think eventually there will be a sudden drop in the gaming industry and die out again once like it did in the past? This is a very good point, and a lot of people have been talking about this. I think the winds of change are coming, and in the day, there's an old Japanese saying, while some people are afraid, others are building windmills. Like, I'll give you an example. I do not think the 3DS is going to work, because all it is a DS with 3D, and quite frankly, I haven't tried one, so I cannot personally comment, but from what I've heard, it's not really that mind-blowing. And the new PSP, or PS, was it Vita or whatever, it's just a PS3, and I'm thinking, why would you want something that powerful in your hand? You don't need it. To be perfectly honest with you, to me, handheld gaming, you don't want to play any games that are more technically capable than a NES. They've got to be simple. You've got to be able to pick up your handheld, play a game for 5-10 minutes and put it down. You can't play something like that on a modern handheld, because quite frankly, them games are more suited to in front of a couch. And that's why mobile phones are so great, because they're with you all the time, they're pretty small, and the games are cheap. So and plus also, PCs are catching up, because you think that technology in games hasn't really changed because of the fact they've been developing console games, and PCs have been gradually increasing. I mean, they're getting a lot more. The gaming side of PCs are a lot more reliable. I mean, when I was a PC gamer, I got frustrated having to upgrade, do drivers, having to constantly keep my PC in, I don't know, a gamer-ready state. I just gave up on it. I don't know. I think anything preventing the PC from taking over is the price. Even a cheap computer is more expensive than a console, and you've got to get the monitor, the computer, some kind of sound system, keyboard, and even if you link it to your TV and get a wireless keyboard, it's still more costly than an Xbox. But at the same time, we're not ready for these new consoles. I mean, one, we just got out of recession, and quite frankly, things are going to be a bit iffy for a while. No one. I mean, I mean, perfectly honest with you, I have no interest in buying a PS4 or an Xbox 720 or even a Wii U, because a Wii U is not going to offer me that much more than what the PS3 or Xbox is doing, other than what? A controller with a screen. Until something really, really, really incredible happens, which is going to be a long time, because at the moment, all they can do is offer you better graphics. That's it. There is nothing else next generation consoles can do that this one can do. And until then, I think there'll be a dip. I think what will happen is the Wii U. I don't know what happened with the Wii U. It might be successful. It's got its Nintendo followers. It might sell enough to make it financially viable. I think Microsoft and Sony, if they're sensible, they'll delay the consoles. If they don't, they'll find they won't work, and they'll end up having to support two machines. I bet you what will happen is they will keep supporting the PS3, Xbox 360 for a very long time, and at the same time they'll be supporting their newer machines and find their new machines just ain't taken off, and by the time they take off, it'll be time for the next set of machines. So my theory is the Wii U could be successful, but at the same time, if it's successful, it's going to take a chunk of the hardcore market, which means there's going to be even less business for all three of the consoles. I think what happened is things will dip down and will continue. Basically, if you're playing a DS now, chances are, even with the DS 3D, they'll still make games for it, because it was like the Atari 2600 when they made the Atari 5200. They still kept making games for the original because no one was buying the new one. Same with the Neo Geo AES, or the Neo Geo MVS, when they released the Hyper Neo Geo. No one bought it, but they still kept making original games. So I imagine, hardware-wise, there won't be any major new successful hardware, maybe other than the Wii U, for quite some time. But I think the existing hardware will still be supported because people still have consoles. They're still going to want to play games. That's my answer. I think hardware-wise, it will drop. I think I can't see much new hardware coming out in the next 5 years, and what does come out is going to struggle. But I think the existing hardware in place now will still have a great deal of support and games for it. So that's my answer, if that kind of makes sense. I'm going to have to do one more question, and I'll have another sweet, because I'm not quite ready for another hit yet. Right. Why do you think, at the start, RPGs weren't as popular back in the day, but today everyone's always talking about the next RPG coming out old and new? I don't know, to be honest with you. I think RPGs are very, very different. I mean, it's like first-person shooters. Like, before Wolfenstein, I mean, I imagine that idea was just crazy. But now everyone's doing it. Same with RPGs. But the problem with RPGs is I don't think they've really evolved. And I think the RPGs are pretty basic and rigid, and unless you've got a really great storyline, it falls apart, in my opinion. And I've seen so many RPGs with the basics are there, but there's no story to back it up. And what they're trying to do now, instead of trying to develop the genre further, they're simplifying it, like with Final Fantasy 13. I mean, fight. That's all you did. You didn't go to towns, you didn't go to a map, and halfway through the game, what happened? Whoa, you've got a little world which you can walk around and fight, and then after you've done with that, you go back to, fight, game over. I mean, that's not an RPG, that's not even a game. And by the end of it, I was just mentally knackered. I don't even know why I did it. I just did it because I'm a Final Fantasy fan. I completed nearly every Final Fantasy game. And I thought, well, I'm sure after this they'll improve it, but I still want to complete this. I think RPGs, like any other games, if it's a potentially good idea, eventually it will take off. It's like an idea. I mean, maybe your idea won't work, but someone else might take your idea and develop it and actually turn it into something that works. And at the end of the day, RPGs was something that was going to take off. It was a matter of having the right game at the right time. Okay, so that set of questions was from Equilibrium Gaming. Right, another hit. Oh god. I'll go with a green one. Oh god. Oh, I think that was Booger again. Right, some more questions from Equilibrium Gaming. Would you ever consider downsizing your game collection in the future, and if so, what would your reasons be? Space. Mainly space. I didn't spend that much money. I mean, a lot of it I've been collecting for a long time, and I always find games cheap. Like, I'll give you an example. NES games, I very rarely go out and buy just the one. I tend to buy a bundle. And when I buy a bundle, I tend to find whatever cheapest place I can get them from. A lot of the time, I actually import from America because they're so cheap. I remember once I got 15 games for about 25 quid, including postage, from America. And if I had ordered a few of them separately from this country, I would have paid that and more. So the only reason I'd ever downsize is space. But the cartridge ones I could just play for emulation if need be. I prefer the original hardware. So that's my reason. The only reason I'd ever downsize is due to space. I'm not having another sweet because I'm still tasting another one. Right, next one. Having a close brother and playing video games, what 3 games would you consider having great gaming memories together as siblings? Well, me and Stu, we used to play Mario Kart a lot of time, GoldenEye, and also on the Mega Drive we used to play a lot of Streets of Rage and Golden Axe. Yeah, I had a lot of good memories playing Golden Axe with Stu. And what was funny was the last time we met together, we actually played through Two Crew Dudes together, and we actually finished it. Which is funny because as kids, well, he would have been in his early teens, I would have been, well, probably like, I don't know, he probably would have been about 15, I would have been about 12, and we couldn't finish it then. Whereas now, not a problem. Right. Now, I'm gonna have another question. I'll finish these questions off, this set of questions, and then I'll have another sweet. Right. Have you had any regrets? Have you ever regret giving up or selling a game you wish you still had in your collection right now? Not really, because any of the ones that I did get rid of, I've got back again, and I don't think there's anything in my collection that I wished was still there. I mean, I originally gave up my Dreamcast collection, which I absolutely regret, and I ended up getting them all back. Same with my Saturn collection. Apart from that, they're the only 2 I ever really regretted. I think not being able to play Shenmue again at one point was, yeah, that was bad. Or even Final Fantasy VII. Well, actually, no, I always had Final Fantasy VII, but I think I originally sold it and then rebought a non-platinum version of Final Fantasy VII. So, okay. The last set of questions from these set. What is your opinion on the gaming community possibly dying or changing for the better? I wouldn't say it's dying, it's changing. YouTube is changing because, let's put it this way, it's been around for how long? 5, 6 years? YouTube isn't set in stone. A lot of people came, they had a bit of fun, and they moved on. Some people came on thinking they were going to be an instant success, like if you did things like, let's say, like the Angry Video Game Nerd, you were going to be huge, popular, live off, the revenue. Quite frankly, that's like winning the lottery. I've seen people who do great content, who have 33 subscribers and maybe 5,000 channel views, 5,000 video views in total. There are a lot of great people who make great content who just cannot get noticed no matter what they do. I mean, I'm lucky. I mean, I got 1,000 subscribers in the space of, I don't know, just over a year and a half. I got 26,000, just short of 26,000 channel page views, and I'm now up to about 52,400-ish video views. I mean, my last review on YouTube, it got about 200 hits, but on Blip, it is well over 800. So my last video, if you include all the video hits in total through Blip and YouTube, it's something like about nearly 1,000 hits. Some of it's been in the right place at the right time, and some of it's just, I don't know. I can't answer that question. All I can say is that some of it is like tagging, for example. I wouldn't say I got bored of it. It overshadowed what I was originally trying to do. Some people get bored. Some people, they come, do the thing, that's it. And some people, they move on. It's like a fad. I don't know, I think YouTube's different for everyone. And I think you have to build a strong community and have people follow you and watch what you do for you to remain interested and remain invested and to keep it fresh. Plus the feedback you get from people, if you listen to it, you can change your videos. Not change them, but I mean, let's put it this way, if you want to have your videos watched by more than 5 people, you have to compromise a little bit. And in that compromise, you learn new things. You learn editing, you learn sound mix, and you make better videos. And in that, you have a better experience, I think. I think it's, you have to invest yourself in it for the long haul to be interested. So I think it's just a dull, plus it's a lull, plus at the same time it's the summer. I mean, there's a lot of YouTubers who are probably not making videos now will probably make more in the winter because they've got nothing else better to do. I know I haven't really answered your question, but that's my opinion. It's different for everyone. Some people will come and go, some people have left, and some people will come back again. Right, that's that set of questions for Boozled Gaming. Right, another sweet. Oh God. I have no idea what that was. Oh God. Right, that's them set of questions done. Right, I got 2 more for Boozled Gaming. Do you honestly think today's gaming industry care about us gamers and our opinions and reviews on games, or are they just there to make money these days and that's all they care about, knowing how fast new games are released today? I think gaming goes through stages. I think they go through stages where they care and they make games for gamers, and then new gamers come to the party, and then they try to make hybrid games that appeal to the existing gamers but at the same time appeal to new gamers. And to me, the last 2 generations of gaming have had an influx of new gamers. Like when the PlayStation came to the market, they brought back all the adult gamers that left, because gaming used to be a thing where you were a kid, you played games, you moved on. The Mega Drive came, and I think it retained people for a bit longer, up until their mid-teens. But when the PlayStation came about, it kept those that were interested into gaming, and a lot of those that left brought them back. And it expanded the market. And then when the next generation came about with the PS2, I think everyone had a PS2. Everyone had probably about 2 of them. And I think the problem with that is, I think with this generation of gaming, it's proven that you've got to look after the core audience, the hardcore gamers. Like with the Wii, for example. What happened with the Wii? Everyone bought it because, wow, motion controls. And then what happened? Everyone just got bored of it. And that's why Nintendo had to start making games. Actually, like, go back to the franchises, make Mario games, make Kirby games, make Star Fox games, make games. And by that point, it was too late, because you think about it, they sold something like about, what was it, 80 million Wiis, but how many of them actually like buy games on a regular basis? It would be the hardcore gamers or the hardcore Nintendo followers. When you think about it, the Xbox 360 is the second highest selling console this generation, but it's got the highest game to console attach ratio, which means there's been more games sold on Xbox 360 than there has been on the Wii. So I think we'll get to a point where it will be all about the games again, and then we'll be back to, oh, new gamers, let's do this, let's do that, make money. So I think it goes through stages. I think you go through a stage where basically it's about the gamers, and then it's about the new gamers, and then us gamers feel kind of let down. That's my opinion. Right, next one. Have you ever been considered as one of the top big gaming channels on YouTube? Whether you know this about yourself or not, know that you have many views connected and networked to you, how does that make you feel? It's hard to describe, because I don't consider myself huge, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't. I think I've been lucky. I've gotten a little bit of notice, and I think I've done surprisingly well. I mean, I'll give you an example. Last week, my newest review got featured on RetroWare TV. If you go on their site now, RetroWareTV.com, it's on the front page. And that's mind-blowing, that really is. I mean, I submit content to lots of sites because I just like connecting with people, talking to people, and sharing. That's what it's all about. You have to invest yourself in it, put yourself out there a little bit in order to get the most out of it. It'd be like you just sitting here waiting for people to come to you. It's never going to happen. You've got to go out there to basically to meet the people, to get the interaction, to get the experience that you're after. I don't consider myself a huge channel. If this is the best I do, I'm more than happy. I would consider what I've done a success. I'd be more than happy to keep doing what I'm doing at the rate I am. And who knows what the future has in store. I think the best way to put it was Retro. I think it was Retro Gamer VX said that someone else told him that you are a middle channel. You know, you're not a little one, you're not a big one, you're a middle channel, and I'm quite happy to be a middle channel. Okay, so that's them set of questions answered. Oh, what the hell? I'll do another hit. Oh, it doesn't look good. It's a. Ugh. Oh God. Oh, moldy cheese. The problem is I can't keep swallowing them whole. I have to actually chew them. I was having a belly full of. Ugh. Right. I've got another 2 set of questions from Eagle Living Gaming. So here we go. From watching your channel all these months, I see that retro game reviews are very popular and are well taken as great information videos. Have any other ideas that might help branch out your channel even more to make a bigger leap to reach an even wider audience? And are you partners with YouTube yet? I have applied to be a partner. I mean, I just thought, what the hell? You know, it's like a lottery. You have a ticket thinking, you know, if you're in it, you could win it. Partnership-wise, I have no opinion. I mean, even if I did get a partnership, I don't know what I'd actually earn because, yeah, with YouTube, you get a hell of a lot more hits than any other video service out there, but what they pay per 1,000 hits is less. Like with Blip, for example, I mean, my newest video, I've earned just short of $4, and that was for about 800 plus hits. Now, if that was on YouTube, I wouldn't have got half that. I might get about £1, might get about $1.20 something. I don't know. So I think YouTube's a great place to socialise. I think it's a great place to get exposure. And I think unless you've got like 100,000 subscribers and you're getting something like about 300,000 views a month, otherwise you're not going to get anywhere. What's the question again? To branch out, I think you have to look elsewhere than YouTube. I think if you're coming into YouTube with the idea of making it big, unless you get lucky, it's not going to happen. You have to use YouTube as a launching pad. Other places, like go to websites, submit your content, like Glitch Out TV, you know, or Ridgeware TV, where you can like go to create a user blog, and if you create a really good video, you know, it's polished and you think it's good enough, just post it on there. You never know. So I think you have to use a video service, let's say YouTube, as a launching pad, and then after that, who knows? But don't just stick with YouTube, because you'll close yourself to any other possibilities. Right, I'll do one more and then I'll call it part 1. Comparing with UK gaming groups and the American gaming groups on YouTube within the community, what do you feel gives you more positive feedback and attention? I would say it's 50-50. I would say I probably connect slightly more with UK gamers because of the fact we have the same, sense of humour, similar appreciations. But Americans are larger than life. They're very warm, and even though we're different and we have different sense of humour, I think our passion for gaming is exactly the same. So I would say it's 50-50. As much as I like UK gamers, I do like American ones as well. I would say they're different, but at our core values, we are just gamers who enjoy playing games. Right, so I'm going to call this part 1, and I'm going to end part 1 by having Another sweet. Oh God.